Hello. This is the 39th issue of Catch of the Day, available on the Branch Talk YouTube channel. And today we're going to continue to read from Trent Wildy's book, A Change in the Priesthood, A Change in the Law. Starting near the bottom of page 6, it says, "And no one assumes this honor, the honor of high priesthood, on his own initiative, but only when called to it by God, as in fact Aaron was." Page 7. "So also Christ did not glorify himself in becoming high priest, but the one who glorified him was God, who said to him, 'You are my son, today I have begotten you.'" Psalms 2, verse 7. As also in another place God says, "You are a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek." Psalms 110, verse 4. During his earthly life, Christ offered both requests and supplications, with loud cries and tears, to the one who was able to save him from death, and he was heard because of his devotion. Although he was a son, he learned obedience through the things he suffered. And by being perfected in this way, he became the source of eternal salvation to all who obey him. And he was designated by God as high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Hebrews chapter 5, verse 4 to 10. The entire record of Christ's life testifies to his humility and lowliness. Nowhere in the annals of his history do we find him setting himself up as the new high priest or displaying a boastful spirit in any regard. Is this the manner of a rebel? Certainly not. Was there ever a time when Christ sought to undermine the law given through Moses? No. To the contrary, he taught that we ought to obey all the laws given through Moses. While Hebrews states these things about the character of Christ, none need take the epistle's word for it. It can be verified by any and all of the records of Christ's life. This shows that the entire mode of Christ's character is altogether different from that of a usurper, for he was not self-seeking, but self-sacrificing and meek. This sets at rest what would be the initial perception of Christ in the eyes of any ordinary Jew, upon hearing high priestly claims. While this might set at ease the animosity which would arise toward Christ as a result of Hebrews' claim, it is not enough to justify the claim itself. It cannot undo what the law says concerning the exclusive right of the sons of Aaron to the priesthood. Therefore, the author of Hebrews, in clearing up the misconception, page 8, of the character of Christ, also introduces scripture which forms part of the basis for the lawfulness of the priesthood of Christ. The two passages here introduced are Psalms 2 and Psalms 110. Both of these passages, according to the author of Hebrews, describe God, the Father, glorifying his Son. Let us briefly examine them in order to better understand his point. First, Psalms 2. Footnote at the bottom of page 7, footnote number 4, one may wonder why the author of Hebrews waited until chapter 5 to even start justifying the claim that Jesus is our high priest, which he first mentioned in chapter 2, especially considering the highly controversial nature of such a claim. But it must be remembered, as mentioned earlier, that the epistle to the Hebrews was not written to unbelieving Jews to bring them to faith in the Messiah, Rather, it was written to some who had already accepted the Nazarene faith, but who had become sluggish and needed urging to press onward. See Hebrews 5, verse 11 to 6:20 and 13. This is demonstrated, footnote number 5, this is demonstrated by his saying recorded in Matthew 5:18 and 23, 1-3, John 5:46 and 7 verse 19, among others. The one enthroned in the skies laughs. Yahweh will have them in derision. Then he, Yahweh, will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his rage, saying, I, Yahweh myself, have poured out my king on Zion, my holy hill. I, Yahweh, will announce the decree. Yahweh has said unto me, Yahweh, you are my son. This day I have begotten you. Psalms 2, verse 4-7. Listening. Good day.